What's up, everybody? Joe White here. Lots of stuff to get into today. Um, I I wanted to start off talking about something that kind of fell into our laps this past week, sadly, and that is the passing of Muhammad Ali. As I record this on Friday, um, the 10th, I believe it's the 10th. It's today the 10th. Yes, it's the 10th. Good. Um, his memorial service was held. Um, there is one fight of his that I want to talk about, and I just remember hearing a piece about this on NPR a couple days ago, right after his passing, and I was like, wow, I can't believe they're talking about this fight. And it's not the ones with George Foreman. It's not the ones with oh man, it's not even the one, with oh man, my mind just went blank. Joe Frazier, thank you. It's not even the one with Joe Frazier. It's the one with that he had his title fight with Sonny Liston. And there's a lot of stuff that surrounds this fight. You have Ali driving, just really nagging and getting into Liston's, ear. I think there was a report that Ali even drove to Liston's house at 3 a.m. in the morning and started shouting outside of his home, "Come on out here, I'll take you on now." Good stuff there. Good stuff. You wouldn't see stuff like that today. Can you imagine, being being Brock Lesnar and driving up to Mark Hunt's house going, "Come on, let's go now. We don't even need an octagon. Let's go." Another thing that intrigued me about this fight was the fact that you had the whole controversy about Sonny Liston's corner putting something on Liston's gloves. Like, they said that Liston's cutman may have inadvertently caused the irritation that blinded Clay in the round 5. There was a lot of rumors that Angelo Dundee was in tight with the mob because it was the mob around this time was still in control of boxing. They still control boxing. So there was a rumor that Angelo Dundee, who was actually Tyson's manager at the time and cornerman at the time, may have been in with Liston and to throw the fight. So he actually was the one that blinded Ali. And they had the Muslims. These black Muslims sitting in the corner yelling at the ref that it was actually Angelo Dundee was the one that did this because he was in tight with the mob and everything like this, which is not true. But it did come out later that the corner of Sonny Liston, the cornerman over with Sonny Liston, did put something on the gloves that blinded Muhammad Ali because Ali was controlling this fight right away, all the way through. Muhammad Ali, controlled this fight and dominated Sonny Liston. I can remember here about, Angelo Dundee, Muhammad Ali wanted to actually quit the fight after he was blinded. So Angelo Dundee took as much water as he could, got all the stuff that was in in Ali's eyes and goes, "You know what? You ain't quitting. This is for the big one. You can't quit now." And it ended up being that, by the 7th round, the start of the 7th round, Sonny Liston did not even get out of the corner. He didn't even want to get up from his stool that they had in the corner, and he, said, "That's it, I had enough." And then they had the big rematch in Maine thereafter. But, to think that stuff like that with the mob controlling the fights and, blinding Ali and Ali getting through it, what a story there around that fight, man. I mean, you would never see something like that in MMA, somebody's corner man putting something on somebody's gloves to blind the other opponent, It's crazy when you think about how much the mob actually controlled boxing back in the day. So I just want to say Muhammad Ali was awesome. WrestleMania 1. He took it a little bit too seriously. He was supposed to be the referee in that match, and then when people finally found out, hey, this guy's a little bit too much of a mark, and we don't want to, back then they didn't even want to smarten the celebrities up. So I've always said that Muhammad Ali picked the wrong business to be in. He should have been a professional wrestler. You know, it's probably how he should have finished out his career. And there's no doubt in my mind, you know, you got people like Paige Van Zandt that's been rumored to come to WWE. Ronda Rousey did something 2 years ago, or 2 WrestleManias ago. Brock Lesnar made the transition to MMA. You look at Ken Shamrock, Dan B. Severn, Mark Mero, Golden Gloves champion in there. They didn't have that kind of crossover back then. You know, you had Ali at WrestleMania 1 back in '85, but by then, you know, his best days were behind him as far as boxing goes, I believe. Can you imagine if somebody, you know, Floyd Mayweather crossed over and did it, but could you imagine if Muhammad Ali would have been able to go back and forth and do both? Wow. Would have been, you know, actually have a match in WWE instead of a guest referee spot. Would have been amazing. The next thing that I do want to talk about here today is the draft. SmackDown definitely needs this, folks, because their viewership dipped down to below 2 million viewers. First time all year this has happened. I'm trying to think the last time it dipped down to below 2 million viewers was actually, it was the day after Christmas when they did that, which you can't really blame that. It's the day after a holiday. September 3rd was the last because I consider the day after Christmas still a holiday. It's Boxing Day up in Canada, for crying out loud. But the September 3rd show of 2015 was the last time that they dipped below a 2 million viewer range. Now, they've stayed at 2 million pretty consistently. You know, there's times I think the day after Thanksgiving show last year went to 3 million in 2014. SmackDown definitely needs this. Raw definitely needs this. This company, WWE, definitely needs this. Everybody's complaining about NXT getting raped as far as their talent goes. Guys, it's a developmental territory. Did you really expect these guys like Enzo and Cass? Well, they got brung up after Mania, but do you really expect American Alpha and the Revival and Joe and, you know, Finn Balor to stay there forever? No. You go into that territory with your main goal in NXT is to get brung up to that main roster. Now, I have said it now in the past, and I'll say it again. Knowing the way Vince is treating these guys when they do get brung up, that concerns me. And if I'm Finn, like I've said it before, if I'm a Finn Balor, I 100% am behind his thing of I'm in no urge to go anyplace else. I love it here. Because he knows. The man's not smart. Or the man is smart. He's not dumb, I should say. He knows that once he gets brought up there, they're going to absolutely ruin him. And he doesn't want that. Who can you blame the guy? If I'm an NXT guy right now, I'm shitting myself as far as this draft goes. Because I know that I'm going to get brung up there, and every single person that gets brung up there, maybe with the exception of Samoa Joe, is going to get crushed. They're going to be the new job guys. They're going to be enhancement talent. And you're going to need enhancement talent for both people, for both brands. NXT's got a lot of people coming up. You know, Athena kind of made her re-debut now. She's no longer Athena. Ty Dillinger. I fully expect Ty Dillinger to stay in NXT with this draft. You got this new guy, CN, whatever he is, came out looking like Tommy Dreamer mixed with Jesus from back in the day, as Dave Meltzer said, which I totally agreed with. You got this new tag team coming out, the Authors of Pain with Paul Ellerling. And anybody who says they were chanting, "Who are you?" at Paul Ellerling, they were not. They were chanting that at these two gargantuans in the ring. But yeah, SmackDown needs this. I've already given you my thoughts on who should go where. Excuse me. It's been a rough day. But yeah, I mean, that's below 1 million viewers. One can only hope, and the majority of that is spoilers. You're not going to be able to do spoilers anymore. You're not going to be able to pipe in noises from the crowd anymore. Well, they still could. WCW was live at every, and they still piped in Goldberg chants over this with his theme song. So they could still pipe in cheers. They could still cut crowd mics down. I heard people out there talking, and I'm not going to name names, but I will name the term, people talking about hipster fans. It's the cool thing to boo Roman Reigns, so that's why we boo him. That we should just fall in line and appreciate his good work and appreciate the way Vince is going, because Vince isn't going to change it. I wholeheartedly disagree. You honestly tell me that if he comes out there and spouts another suffering succotash promo, well, Joe, it's not his fault. Look, Roman Reigns right now, it's clear that they want to push him. So if he wants to come out there and deviate from the script a little bit, I think they would let him. They're not going to stop pushing him because of that. I think he's earned that right. One other thing that's crazy here is the whole AJ Styles, Roman Reigns thing was over at that last pay-per-view, and now they're going on to John Cena. The one thing about the John Cena, or the AJ Styles John Cena promo battle, if you will, was that you can tell when a guy does not have the authority to go off the script. Roman Reigns fully well does, in my opinion. But John Cena is just laying into AJ Styles. And you can tell, you can see it on AJ's face that AJ just wants to fire back and really, really hand John Cena his ass. But he doesn't do it because he knows if he says one wrong thing, again, the WWE locker room has to walk on eggshells in front of and behind the curtain. The NXT TakeOver special was absolutely phenomenal, except for the steel cage match. A lot of people have been debating on the whole escape thing. I knew that we were going to get escape spots in this, but I expected more out of this. Really, I honestly think that even with the constant stopping of the matches, I honestly think that their stuff at NXT, the TakeOver Dallas, was better than this. I honestly think that match was a little bit better. It just was. Nia Jax versus Asuka was pretty good for what it was. You got to figure, and Asuka, she's only a year in the business, and she's already in a semi-main on a TakeOver special. It's pretty good. I'm a fan of her. I like her look. I like the fact that she's a little bit bigger than most women are. Everybody rags on her ring gear. I like the ring gear. I like the theme song. I like the entrance where you come out and you see her eyes. I think she needs to work on their scowl a little bit better, because those eyes should have, when you look into her eyes, you should see death staring you right back in the face, in my opinion. The Will Ospreay versus Ricochet match. I'm hoping to talk with Jeff Edwards. I've invited Jeff Edwards to come on the show and talk a little bit about that and a little bit about this brand split. But my God, I felt like I ought to have been, holding up scorecards after every spot. The French judge gives that flip a 9. The French judge gives that flip a 10. The Brazilian judge gives this flip an 8. And if I'm McMahon, I'd exactly, McMahon's looking at that going, It's an awful lot of flips, pal. And you can't be cursing like that in the ring. And I can hear them calling spots. The calling spots bit is partially because of how that arena is wired for sound. And it's also a fact that the Japanese crowd is so damn quiet at times that yeah, you're going to hear everything that goes on in the ring. But it doesn't matter because it's a Japanese crowd and they don't understand English. They were chanting, they stole the "This is awesome" chant. I guarantee you probably half of them don't even know what "This is awesome" means in English or what it entails. They're chanting it because it's the cool thing to chant at indie shows now. Talk about your hipster fans. Those were it. Because I'll be quite honest with you. I have a lot of love-hate with this match. Is this what the business has become? Just going out there and calling flips? That was not a pro wrestling match. Who's the babyface and who's the heel? Well, Joe, it's a tournament. It doesn't matter. The goal is still the same whether you're the baby. I don't care. That's not right. That shit will never fly. Keep it in Japan. That's what they like to see. It would never fly here in the U.S. except for the hardcore fans. The casual fans are going to pop for it, yeah. But at the end of the day, they're going to look at it and go, what the fuck are they doing? That whole split where they do the handsprings up the ropes and they come back and they're both down on the mat looking at each other. It looks like something out of Super Sentai or Mortal Kombat. And Will Ospreay needs to watch his language. You can maybe get that by on that with like at a PWX or a Ring of Honor house show even. The guy's not ready for TV. Everybody wants to say how good he is. He's not ready for TV here in the U.S. He's got a long way to go. Ricochet impressed me the most in that match because Ricochet was calm, he was cool, he was collected, he knew what he was in there to do, as he always is. But everybody's marking out over Will Ospreay, and I'm just like, I'm looking at that match going, it's a long way to go. It's a long way to go with him. I'm very much thumbs in the middle with this match. I like the acrobatics. I like the athleticism. Didn't tell a story. People often forget that the main thing of a wrestling match, the main hook of a wrestling match is to tell a story in the ring. What story did these two guys tell? One wanted to outflip the other so they could advance in the tournament. Got to do better than that. Got to do way better than that. Well, Joe, WWE doesn't have to tell stories with their stuff either. I know. But I full well agree with what Jim Cornette said. That thing was not a pro wrestling match to me. It was an exhibition of flips and holds, which is what wrestling can be sometimes. There is room for that. It's not main event worthy, though. And I don't want to see it every night. And if this is what the business is becoming, I mean, I'm hoping, I've wished death on Vince McMahon before just so he could lose the crappy sports entertainment. But I'll be damned if I wanted to go from, the crappy WWE everyday boring sports entertainment to this shit. There's room for it. It's just not every match. Not every match. Not even on every card. It was the best of the Super Juniors, Joe. Okay, but I guarantee you the Cruiserweight Classic coming up won't look like that. The X Division down in TNA does not look like that. Go watch any Trevor Lee match. Yes, it has its share of flip, flop, and fly. But dude could kick your fucking teeth in at the same time. Not everything with Trevor Lee has to be a flip. And I'm looking forward to seeing Trevor Lee versus Andrew Everett next weekend at CWF Mid-Atlantic. I'm really looking forward to that. CWF247.com. Check it out. Get your tickets. Good little building with the Sportatorium. It's very nice. We've had Brad Stutz, the booker and commentator for that promotion, on the show before. The interview is in the YouTube channel. Check that out. Gawker has filed for bankruptcy. No shit. Hogan put him out of business. I find it funny how in the appeal, or in the Gawker announced sale plans, they've sold it to somebody. They've sold it to Ziff Davis, a global digital media company which operates in the technology, gaming, and lifestyle categories and is a subsidiary of J2 Global Inc. And here I thought we were getting rid of Kotaku. Ugh. But anyway, this is so that they can fund, the sale of this is going to fund two things. It's going to fund the bankruptcy of the company, and it's also going to, I believe, fund the appeal process for this lawsuit. Why would you still go forward with an appeal when after every single thing, as far as not giving Hogan the money, hey, we want to extend that? No. Hey, we want to lessen the fine? No. Every appeal that you've done so far and every motion that you've made post-trial has failed you. You're going to end up having to pay the man the money. And congratulations, Hogan, you took down Gawker. WWE 2K17, and as announced, their pre-order is Goldberg. You get two versions of Goldberg this year. You get the WCW and the WWE Goldberg, along with two WCW arenas. You get Monday Night Nitro and Halloween Havoc from 1999. I guarantee you, the WWE 2K Showcase this year, you're going to have a 2K Showcase on Goldberg, which is recreating the shit he's done. And then you'll have Beat the Streak with Goldberg. Beat the Streak will come back. I'm so sick, 2K. Give us originality. I know that everything has to go through WWE first, but man, there was a rumor. I mean, all these YouTubers like, Tubby Emu, CM Pulse, everybody got mad when they took the story creator out of 2K16. Did you ever think that WWE probably saw the stupid shit you do online with that thing and probably told them to take it out because they didn't want to see it no more? They don't want to see you booking shows with their video game online and making a profit out of it? Anyway, it's good. I marked out over the commercial. The commercial was badass. But I don't think this means we'll see Goldberg come back. Maybe one match. Maybe. I'll go ahead. One match. Maybe one. But I don't think, and they better have some pretty heavy DLC this year, and they better have a good roster. I want to see the 4 horsewomen in this thing. I want to see American Alpha. I want to see the Revival. I want the entire NXT roster better be on this show. Dana Brooke better be on here. Mojo Rawley, as much as I can't stand him. That guy's all the time in character. Have you noticed that? I mean, how fucking annoying must it be to be in the same room with that guy? Stupid Mark, you don't know. Yeah, I do. You can see it on the 24/7 special when he's coming back and congratulate him. It's like he's working a hype bro promo when Zack Ryder comes back from the curtain and he's there after WrestleMania from winning the title, which lasted for one day. They didn't put that in the stupid Breaking Ground thing. The Breaking Ground thing wasn't stupid. I actually enjoyed it, but still, you know what I mean. Here they are telling everybody else was going, here's this guy's WrestleMania moment. Here it is. It's the culmination. What they fail to realize is 24 hours later, just like I predicted, he lost it to The Miz. Because nobody gives a fuck about Zack. I'm surprised they have not released him. And all these releases that have come out, why haven't they gotten rid of him? Is he the new, I guarantee you'll have Zack Ryder on one brand and maybe Ty Dillinger on the other. Ty Dillinger, whew, I love me some Ty Dillinger. He's awesome live, but man, for some reason they just don't want to give him his due. And people can say the same about Zack Ryder, but to me, the woo 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 and all that shit, no, sorry. Another guy I want to talk about here is No Way Jose. I mentioned CWF. I think he wrestled as Manny Ramirez in CWF. I'm not too sure about the name. Got good talent. Very talented. Very talented worker. And I'm surprised that they've given him this gimmick. I guarantee you he tag teams with Fandango in the near future. Or he becomes the Fandango of one brand. This brand split coming up is very crazy. Everybody's talking about how, we read the TV tapings. I won't spoil it for you here. You read the TV tapings. The only thing I'm going to say is it looks like they're building up to Nakamura versus AJ, or not AJ Styles. Nakamura versus Finn Balor going forward, probably at the TakeOver Brooklyn. Which is crazy because Brooklyn is after the roster split. So if you're going to save that then till there, that's fine. But a lot of people are saying Balor, Joe, Aries, Nakamura, Asuka. I've even heard rumors of Nia Jax, Bayley. All your main eventers in NXT right now are getting called up in the near future. Anyway, but I felt like I needed to say something about that draft, man, because SmackDown definitely needs the help. And one can only hope that this helps it. I just hope that people, everybody's like, well, we want to get away from the DVR crowd. There's times where I watch Raw on DVR and avoid spoilers. Half the time, if Raw does not hook me within the first hour, I go to bed. I'll get up and watch it on my DVR the next day. So many good TV shows coming out too. E3, I think, is next week as far as video games go. A lot of stuff coming out at E3. Watch Dogs 2, which I liked the first Watch Dogs. But the problem was with that game is that it was so overly hyped that it got on PS4 or PS3, and it was not what it was cracked up to be. It was good for what it was, but they way overhyped it. This is going to be the greatest thing. This is going to take Ubisoft from here to here. This is like gonna kill Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft what is what people were saying. And then it came out, and everybody was like, this is kind of, Grand Theft Auto 5, I think, came out the same year, or if not the year after. And we saw what that did. I'm all over the place tonight. What the hell? It's 9:30 at night on a Friday, and I didn't prepare for this. I just came home from grocery shopping. I was like, I want to record. So, Injustice 2. I really want to talk about Injustice 2 as far as video games goes. I'm excited. I don't like the idea of everybody having the armor, the Battleizer armor. It really reminded me of the Power Rangers Battleizer armor. Where the fight's not going well, do the Battleizers, Psyched to see Supergirl in this. As far as DLC characters go for this thing, they had Scorpion last year. Go ahead and put Sub-Zero in this year. They obviously can't do stuff like they did in Mortal Kombat X, but like Jason Voorhees and stuff like that. Or I think they did Freddy Krueger one year, the Mortal Kombat before. You know what I would like to see as a character? I would love to see Superboy. Just a lot of people don't. A lot of people are groaning at the Superboy. Oh no! Have his little special movie. He whistles and the damn Super Dog comes in. That would be awesome. Swamp Thing is another one that I would like to see. Ed Boon actually ran a poll on Twitter saying, which one would you like to see? Swamp Thing, Blue Beetle, or Captain Cold. Blue Beetle clearly won, and I think there is even plans to do a Blue Beetle movie. I want to see if they're going to do Flash and Arrow again, and a lot of people, somebody did a video saying, how are they going to do this with continuity because so many people are dead in the comic books? The comic book series went in conjunction with the video game, I get that, but Ed Boon has never been a guy for canon, so he in NetherRealm doesn't have to go off the comic book, per se. It's a fighting game, for crying out loud. As far as that one big character I think that you have for DLC or a pre-order thing, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know who you would put in there. You could do Superboy as a later on DLC character with the Super Dog and stuff. The pre-order bonus will probably be Blue Beetle, seeing as how that's the poll that Ed Boon put out. That's crazy, because do you have all the same characters back plus these new ones, like, Kara and, maybe put, like I said, Blue Beetle, Superboy, Swamp Thing maybe. I think you have the Riddler fight this one too. I would love to see the Riddler be a guy who you fight. Mr. Freeze would probably be a good. Imagine that, Sub-Zero versus Mr. Freeze. That would be amazing. Then you got to throw Captain Cold. I like Captain Cold. See, here's what I think about Captain Cold. And they did this with Arrow in the previous game as a DLC skin. They had the Arrow skin from the TV show, and Stephen Amell did the voice, and it looked just like Amell. It was awesome. I don't pick, whenever I play Injustice, I can't pick the comic book version. I have to pick the TV version. So they need to do that with everything. They need to do that with Supergirl this year, and they need to do that with Flash and Arrow as well. Bring the guys from the TV show in to do the voices for the video game. I don't like the voices that they had in the trailer. Kevin Conroy obviously needs to come in and do Batman. If you could get Mark Hamill for the Joker, please do it. He's my favorite Joker. I think Lex Luthor, this is going to piss a lot of people off, and a lot of people are going to go, what the fuck? But fuck it. Bring the one from the movie in. Jesse Eisenberg. Put him in the damn armor. Which I don't think they can, because if I remember correctly, Lex Luthor died in the video game even. So, but then again, who knows? WWE 2K, going back to that, are doing their roster reveal. They got this damn artist who does canvas to canvas coming in, and he's painting the roster. You're only going to get about 4 or 5 guys, and then SummerSlam will come in, and they'll do the big 2K thing, their SummerSlam weekend in New York. Let's see, what else here? Kimbo Slice passed away. R.I.P. to Kimbo. Heart failure. Kills me as he just passed all those loads of drug tests before that big fight with Dada 5000. I look at these fighters passing away, man. It's just crazy to think. Ali was getting up there in age and had Parkinson's and all that. But Kimbo, early, my mother died at 46. So to see him die at 42, it's like, man, that's young. I just don't know when it comes to. I don't follow MMA as closely. I know he was fighting for Bellator. Speaking of which, Ariel Helwani, I think I'll comment on this too. Ariel Helwani got kicked out of UFC, the last UFC show, for reporting that Brock Lesnar was coming back in. Now, granted, they don't have to give you credentials. But at the same time, that's what reporters do. That's what reporters are supposed to do. So, it's a double-edged sword. Does UFC have to give him creds? Was UFC well within their right to kick him out? Yes. But was Ariel Helwani well within his rights of freedom of press and freedom of speech to report it? Absolutely. Should he have gone to UFC and said, should I report this? Kind of on the fence about that too. But he said he's went to the UFC before, and UFC told him no. And then it's like big stories get leaked by other places. Like they'll give the stories to, Fox or whatever, and they'll get to break the shit. Do I think he should have been tossed out during the main event of that fight? No. He should have been there. I'm a huge Michael Bisping fan. I've liked Michael Bisping ever since season 3, I believe it was, of The Ultimate Fighter. There's been people who have said he ain't worth a shit and who he ain't worth a damn. That dude right there has, I'll steal a line from Enzo Amore. He has the gift of gab and the gift of jab. Cuts one hell of a promo, one hell of a story. I mean, if they're over, and the fact that Ariel Helwani didn't get to witness that kind of pisses me off, man. If I was him, I would have been like, okay, I'm going to stay and watch the fight, and then I'll talk. The damage had already been done at that point. They could have looked at him afterwards and said, okay, look, a bigger blow to me would have been you watch the fight, and then when it comes to the press conferences, then they kick his ass out. You're done. Bye. They could have at least stayed and let him watch the fight. And I heard the podcast. He did get a little bit emotional. Speaking of emotional, Seth Rollins and Bret Hart are back and forth. I'm kind of on Bret's side of things, because if you go back and watch that video, he does pull Cena's face down and crocks him right in the nose with that knee back when he did break Cena's nose. And Bret, maybe Bret's being a little bit too Jim Cornette old school on this one. By saying, hey, I wrestled for umpteen years. I never hurt a single person in that ring. And that's true. Bret never, ever, in his career, hurt a single person deliberately in that ring. And I think Bret was right to say, yeah, the veteran chewed your ass out. You take the ass chewing like a man and learn from it. That's how the business should work. I'm not for veterans going in there the next fight and kicking the shit out of you. I'm not for them pulling a Bob Holly, Matt Capitelli deal. That shouldn't happen. But for a veteran to come up to you after a match or after a situation and go, hey, next time do this, next time don't do this, you need to watch your ass on X, Y, and Z. Yeah, Bret Hart has every right to speak. And it's not like he's speaking out of school. Bret Hart had every right to say what he said, and I agree with what he said. Wholeheartedly. With the Sting thing, why are you throwing a something-odd-year-old man into a turnbuckle? If Sting won't okay with the spot, he would have said no. That's the only thing I can say about that, but for Seth Rollins to sit there and go, put on the boo-boo face, I idolized you, and now you're criticizing me. Yeah, fuck yeah. Bret Hart has every right to criticize Seth Rollins. Because I'm sorry, for everybody, I'm going to go ahead and blow your minds with this one. In his prime, Bret Hart was 10 times better than Seth Rollins will ever fucking be. That's going to wrap it up here. We got E3 next week. A lot of crap with video games coming. I'm going to try to record something. I'm going to try to record more regularly. I want to get Jeff Edwards on the show here in the near future to talk a little bit about this brand split deal and about the New Japan deal with Ricochet and Ospreay. That's why I really didn't get into too much detail about it here. Because I do think it's good for you guys to hear something from the other side of the coin as far as that goes. As we all know, Jeff Edwards is a huge mark for Japan. And who could blame him? It's good stuff over there. Except when they do the gymnastic meets. I feel like Kerry Strug ought to have been sitting there coaching. There's a name for you. Look it up. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. I'm tired. And man, I'm sorry this wasn't as structured as stuff normally is. Normally I write shit down to talk to you guys, stuff to talk to you guys about, but not today. Just all top of my head. But anyway, that's going to do it for me. I might record another video tomorrow going into a little bit more detail about the draft and the roster split and what they could do with it. But anyway, we'll see you down the road. Thanks for watching.